We'll just take our meditation postures. We're going to start with a meditation. Jules's dog is going to meditate as well. That's nice. That's always a good way into the heart, isn't it? Okay. So we'll just arrive release into our meditation posture. Maybe releasing a bit more with each out breath, taking slightly longer breaths, just to release any of the surface tension we're carrying. And attending to the sensations of the body. A point of connection with the ground beneath us. Connecting us with the stability of the earth. The reliability of the earth's presence. Can release into that. sensations of pressure, contact, weight, as gravity moves through our body and releases into the earth. And if it helps, starting with the sensations higher up in the body. The air in contact with the skin on our face. Any twitching in our muscles of our face. Sensations in the back of the neck. Sensations of the jaw. The pull on the chest as the air comes and goes. Tiny muscle movements in the back. The side of the ribs. Nothing to do but ease into these sensations, the presence and aliveness of each sensation in our body right now. Feeling the center of gravity drop deeper into the body. Noticing where we resist or move towards. Areas of tension or pain. Part of the cloud of sensation that we're experiencing now, along with the rise and fall of the belly, the tingling in the muscles, pockets of energy, even energy in the pain or tension. Is it the same as it was a moment ago? This cloud of sensation. Where's your awareness drawn to right now? Staying loving, staying curious, staying open. What's it like, this sensation right now? What would it be like without its label. Tension, pain, release, breath, belly, what's it like without the labels? Without the label awareness. Distinct, clear sensation. Alive in the sensation, present. And now, if you like, you can take the awareness to the area around the heart center and into the heart center, either in the middle of the chest or maybe slightly behind. If you're not sure where the heart center is for you, you can just drop in the question, where is my heart center? And see where your awareness goes. loving, curious, open. Whatever's there. Maybe tender, sense of release, sense of constriction. Whatever activity or blankness. See where it takes you. As you drop into that area behind the heart. Gently. Listening to the cicadas of the heart. And just to end, letting everything fall open. Nothing to do. Just sitting in your room on the cushion. in our shared metta space. How was that? Good. It's always a relief to get into the heart. Funnily enough, for me, however difficult it can feel in there, it's still a relief to come into contact with it somehow. Yes. So if there aren't any immediate questions,
I would just like to express my thanks, Vijayamala, for that practice this morning, which was particularly timely for me. Thank you.
pleasure. Pleasure. So we are entering the territory of the heart now, even more so, even more deeply. And I have a question that I was sent that I think, well, it helps to sort of find our way into this territory. So the question was, let me read the question, that'd be easier. I can do that. So, when you suggest that our searching mind is the result of craving, the question is it the deep, subconscious human craving that usually we barely notice? Or is it more ordinary, everyday craving that we may be experiencing due to our mundane, shifting states of mind? Or is it both? So, to me, this points, I mean, I think she's noticed something about the way that we operate. She's noticed something about the way our minds go about their business. Yeah. So there are these different levels on which we're functioning, and actually we're functioning on all of these different levels all of the time. So in a way, yes, it probably is the same root core sort of taste of searching that's there, both in the sort of the way that we fill our everyday lives, and in that more, how did she put it very beautifully, the deep subconscious human craving that usually we barely notice. Yeah. So I don't know quite, it's very difficult to articulate that level, isn't it? But I think, you know, for me that sort of resonated quite strongly. So there are these parts, and this is why often, you know, we can be very enthusiastic, keen to get on the cushion, to settle our minds. We go on retreat. We we have all these great conditions, and our mind stabilizes, settles, deepens. Our hearts open. But the trouble is that there are these sort of forces that are much deeper than that. So that when we come off retreat, we quickly move into the concerns and interests of our emotional involvements. They all sort of start up again, and well, our interest in meditation can't really compete with that. Yeah. Because it's like the noise from everything else is just much louder and much more immediate. Yeah. Other things are more important and more, in a way, more, they feel more real at the time. Yeah. So if we're sensitive to this, it can feel like, it can feel like, yeah, okay, we're still on the cushion, but it feels like it's all falling apart. Yeah, because there's this sort of conflict between, the conditions we're in and our everyday concerns, and the meditation that we want to be prioritizing. So what we can do, certainly what I spent years doing, is to sort of try harder, yeah, to keep pulling it all together. Yeah, it can be quite subtle, the effort that I put in to try harder, but there's still this sort of underlying voice or message saying, I'm not doing it well enough. Yeah, I'm not doing it right. I'm not, does that ring any bells? Yeah. And that's triggered by the sense of losing contact with something that was important to us. So we try and get it back. Yeah. I don't know about anyone else, but for me, that hasn't really worked very well. It's not the best approach, as far, in my experience. So I think the first thing is to acknowledge that there are these different aspects of our experience, different levels of mind, and there are these levels of mind that seem to have their own trajectory, yeah, that seem to be going in their own, going in their own direction, and before I know it, I've clicked on that website and I've gone down there, and and hang on, I thought I wanted to go for a walk half an hour ago, and here I still am somewhere in the other sort of cyberspace that isn't very fulfilling. Yeah. So, well, we'll look in a minute at how to support ourselves with this, but it's there's sort of, in a way, there's two ways that you can go about this. So, you know, you can go on retreat, you can get into good conditions, and then gradually these levels will start to reveal themselves. And a bit like we've been doing with exploring physical sensation and sound, if we get used to sort of being in that territory and letting that unfold, yeah, we can also stay in the territory of sort of, we can have a taste, a flavor for how to let things unfold. So if the sort of the deeper levels can start to emerge, yeah, they can start to sort of, they feel like they're not just going to be sort of squashed down or unheard, they can start to sort of reveal themselves. And that's great, you know, especially if we've got the conditions and time to take to just open that space for them. The other, that's sort of coming from one way. Coming from the other way, we can, in a sense, we can call on a bit of help. Yeah, so we can call on help from our sangha, our friends. Yeah, you know, I sit here and I look at you in your setups, and you know, some of you have sort of got it, so you've turned your phone off and you sent your husband away, and you know, or you're out in the garden or whatever, and it's like that, oh yes, you know, this is really serious. And you know, even me sitting here teaching, it's sort of, oh yes, no, it's really serious. And it sort of pulls more out. Yeah, it's sort of so we can help each other like that. But also well, we can use things like mantra and whatever sense we have of the presence of, or influence, if you like, of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Yeah. Because certainly if I think of the image of the Buddha, I remember when I first went into a Buddhist center, I was 19, I think. So that was a couple of years ago, maybe. And it was a long time ago. The first thing I saw was this golden image of the Buddha on the shrine. And I was captivated by it. And I didn't know why I was captivated by it. But I think the thing is that these things, they talk to they talk to those deeper levels of mind that our rational minds don't have access to. Yeah, or we may have partial access to, or you know, they sort of know it makes sense, but there's something that can get straight in there, and that's, you know, that can be the imagery. That's why we're using poetry. We're using the images of the ox-herding pictures, and it can be just a sense of a communication of presence, of those more open, more free, more released states of mind, yeah, more loving states of mind, and they can message themselves to our deeper levels of experience, yeah, almost sort of circumventing, if you like, the our rational minds. They can call to those deeper levels of experience. So, you know, it doesn't work for everybody, but it can, and we sort of sometimes when it doesn't work, it's because our rational minds are too in the forefront. Yeah, we're preferencing our rational minds too much. So, I mean, the wonderful thing about the Buddha is that he actually could talk to us on all of those levels, couldn't he? He makes sense rationally, and he calls to something much deeper than that. Yeah. So luckily we've got different ways in, so we can just sort of, you know, stay very open and aware, curious and loving, and create the sort of environment both externally and internally where these deeper levels can unfold. And we can expose ourselves to influences that call to a different aspect of our being. Yeah, so they can feel, oh yes, there's room for me to breathe here. I'm understood on a particular way. I don't have to communicate myself rationally. Yeah. I said, I don't know if you noticed in the meditation yesterday afternoon, I said that we didn't need to know. Yeah. So I meant that in a rational sense. Yeah. We don't need to know. We don't need to be able to articulate our experience. Yeah. When we're doing the meditation, obviously it's very helpful afterwards. But in that process of discovery, yeah, we don't need to know. But there is a very clear, different sort of knowing, which isn't a conceptual knowing, that can emerge. Yeah. There's a sort of, you know, a rightness and a sort of intuitive, an intuitive wisdom, I suppose, an intuitive understanding that doesn't need to articulate itself to be there. Yeah. So that's a very different sort of knowing that will unfold in the practice. Yeah, so whichever way, however we choose to engage or invite, if you like, those deeper levels of mind, of heart mind, of chitta, it's a very sensitive process. It's not, you know, it is a different language to the language of our normal everyday concerns and interests. And when we get into those concerns and interests, it can seem almost irrelevant. Yeah. So I think it's really helpful to, in this process, as a sort of a touchstone or a way to help us when the going gets tough, you know, when we're just up against, you know, okay, you say it's sensation, but actually it's just pain, and it's pain, and it's pain, and it's pain, you know. So why am I doing this? Why am I sitting here just up against this pain? Yeah. We need to have answers for that. We need to know why we want to do this. I mean, presumably there's something in us that does, because we're all here in our shared metta space. Yeah? But it's good to get as close to that motivation, to that sense of why it is that we're doing it. Yeah, so that we can, you know, when the going gets tough, or when we're faced with a lot of difficult conditions and it just doesn't seem to be working, you know, we have a reason to stay with it. Yeah. So what we'll do after, we'll have a break in a minute, and then we'll come back and we'll explore this whole area of, well, it's, yeah, it's, in a way, it's the opposite to trying harder. Yeah, it's the opposite to, okay, it doesn't work, so I'll try harder. Yeah, it's actually, I think that the more productive approach is to strengthen our motivation and our confidence in the practice, so that when it doesn't work, there's a lot of reinforcement about what's really important to our life, what's really meaningful, what is going to open our hearts, what feels creative and flowing, yeah, so that we can trust that, we can have faith in that, whether that be in the image of a bodhisattva, the sound of a mantra, or just a sense of what's really deeply, individually, authentically moving, opening for us, yeah. So do you see how that could be an alternative to trying harder? Yeah, we can rest back in that. Yes, no, this is worth it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what resources I can bring. Let's see how how creative I can be with this, how patient I would be with this, how curious, how loving. Yeah, not, oh gosh, I must be doing it wrong. And do you know that there's that feeling of I'm doing it wrong, that there's a squeezing, isn't there? There's a tightening, yeah? And that's the exact opposite to this opening that we're looking for, yeah? Do you remember yesterday we were talking about that opening, that release, either on the mental, emotional, or physical level? We can feel it in our bodies, our psyches. And that tightening we can also feel in our psyches. And it's the exact opposite to that. And that is, again, the craving, searching mind, searching for the solution, yeah, coming back into play. Okay, so if we remember nothing else, we can remember this mudra, the release, the release. Okay, so yes, we'll have a 20-minute break now.
Vijayamala?
Yeah.
We just had a request if you could repeat that question from the beginning that you were asked.
Ah, yes, of course. The question. So this is really about that there are different levels of that craving mind, yeah? So when you suggest that our searching mind, so remember this, or, yeah, is the result of craving, is it the deep subconscious human craving that we barely notice? Yeah. Or the more ordinary, everyday craving that we may be experiencing due to our mundane shifting states of mind? Or is it both? So it's wherever that there's that flavor, and we can start to attune all the different, on the different levels of our being, to where that sort of closing down happens, yeah? or where that opening happens. Yeah, all these different levels of mind, of being. Okay, so we will come back in 20 minutes, 11:41 by my watch. So I've had a couple of questions and comments, really about the sort of approach to this practice, and what to do with more difficult experience, maybe. So what I'd like to do is have a look at those a bit later on, because I'd like to introduce a way into connecting with our motivation a bit now, and then to give us a chance to do a meditation practice with it. So if we're all back, do you think we're all back, Maitra Devi? She just looks like Tara at the moment. She's probably not there.
We're all back.
Okay, good. Yes, so there you go. So yes, we'll explore what are sometimes called, and what you may have come across as, the heart wish. Yeah, now. So in a moment we'll go back, we'll come back into connection in meditation with our heart center and explore that. But just a few pointers before we do that. So what we're looking for here is, we're trying to find something that or acknowledge or bring into play, if you like. It's more like bringing into play something that is of significance to us. Yeah. So I don't know if it happened to you naturally when we were sitting with the heart center earlier, but sometimes there's quite a sort of sense of sort of alignment, or sort of coming into relationship with something when we come into that area. And sometimes it can be quite surprising what we come into alignment with. Yeah. So we may be dropping in the question, well, what is of authentic meaning to me? And we may get sort of quite a well, an unusual response. For it to be something that that will carry us through when the going gets tough, when the experiences aren't pleasant, when the sounds aren't pleasant, when the struggle is strong, if you like, it needs to be something that isn't just a sort of a good Buddhist thing to do, yeah, or something that you can see inspires someone else, yeah. Which is why I think it's quite good to sometimes take the label off these things. You know, all of us would like, well, not maybe all of us, but many of us would like to be able to sort of throw our feet at the Buddha and just be totally open to his influence. But that isn't necessarily what really sort of resonates or connects with us at the moment. And that can be quite an exploration. But there will be something in there that is an opening for us. And we can sometimes find these things in places where we wouldn't normally look. So, for example, yeah, I seem to, what my mind often does in meditation, maybe when it's getting a little bit bored or it wants some stimulation or something, is I find things that I can, this sounds really weird, I find things that I can calculate, yeah, or that I can sort of, I can resolve, you know, I find a little sort of it's not like I'm playing mental Sudoku or something, but it can be a bit like that, you know, sort of. And I think, you know, well, why do I do that? You know, why do you do that, Vijayamala? You know, what's in it for you? Yeah, what's in it? What am I thinking that I want to get out of that? And I think there's a sort of there's an energy that engages when I feel that I can be successful at something, yeah, or yeah, that I can work something out. You know, I like to work. I like to be able to work things out, and so, you know, I could look at that going on in my mind and get really fed up that, you know, here I am going off trying to sort of, I don't know, solve some sort of puzzle somewhere off in the future, which has absolutely no relevance to here and now. I think it was Blake, wasn't it, who even sort of personified rationality by this figure measuring things out. I could really relate to that. So there's an aspect of me that sort of measures things out and gets a lot of satisfaction from doing that. So I can look at that and I can say, okay, so I like to measure things out. Yeah. So then there's another question to be asked. Yeah. So you can say, okay, I like to measure things out, or, you know, I want to be in connection with people. Yeah. Or, you know, you might spend a lot of time thinking about other people in your meditation and realize, oh, it's because I want to be in connection with people. Yeah. That I care about them. Yeah. So yeah, it's good to sort of, it's good to reveal or allow the sort of what the mind is opening to, if you like. There's also other questions. So you can ask, if you've got, okay, well, you know, I want to feel that feeling of success and creativity, or yeah, a sense of achieving something, maybe. So you can ask, well, what do you get? What do I get? Yeah, out of that sense of success or achieving something. Yeah. So if I were to feel, yes, I've really succeeded, I'm really, you know, I've really done that. Yeah, what would that give me? Yeah. Or what would it give me to feel in connection with other people? Yeah, what would that give me? And it's sort of asking those questions. So okay, so I can think, right, what does I'm doing this as I go along, so it's a bit sort of searching here, but okay, so what would it give me to feel that sense of achievement, and everything's as it should be, you know, sort of in its place. And I think it probably partly gives me it gives me two things. It gives me a sense of stability and order, and it gives me a sense of sort of I don't know, there's a sort of can-do aliveness about that success. There's a sort of sense of release of energy, a freeing of energy, that I'm not sort of, that the energy isn't caught up in sort of trying to work it out. You know, it's a freeing sense of energy. So then it's like the heart wish there has got elements of freedom and it's got elements of stability. Yeah. And that stability is a state of mind that we all have access to, yeah? And that sense of freedom is a state of mind that we all have access to, yeah? We can open and open and open to that sense of stability. What we tend to do is we tend to sort of give the power of that stability to things that don't hold it. Yeah, so things that fall apart in samsara. There's quite a lot of things that fall apart in samsara, isn't there? So we're always searching for that stability. But actually, there is a stability just in our present current awareness. Yeah, that's always there. You know, that our awareness is always there. It's always filled with different things, but it's always present. Yeah. And in a way, we can always come home to that awareness. Yeah. I'll go into this more later on, but I'm just giving you that as an example of how the heart wish, yeah, can, if you distill it down to something that's, you keep asking questions till you get back to something that's is in a way, it's not, it doesn't need to be dependent on externals. Yeah. So even that wish to be in connection, yeah, to be not separate from well, it's a wish to be completely open-hearted, yeah, and completely unbounded, yeah, and in relation, yeah. So because we can always say, well, okay, but I haven't got, I haven't got the people in my life to help me feel connected, and I'm isolated, and yeah. But what we want to feel is that sense of love, yeah. And that sense of love is available to us, yeah. We can give it to other people, we can feel it for ourselves. Because I think, very often we want to feel it from other people because we feel a lack of it, yeah. But if we feel it from other people, if we do come into contact and I feel this real sense of love from you, what happens? My heart opens, yeah? And that love, is actually something I'm feeling inside and that I can share with other people, yeah? So it's just, I suppose I'm saying this because things that we might think of as being irrelevant to our practice and not very Buddhist, certainly if I were to listen to Blake, not very helpful at all, like measuring things, there's something in that, yeah, there's something in that if we keep going into it, yeah. And even that sort of, like, we may go into our heart center and there may be a lot of pain there, yeah. And that pain, there's a sort of, if we say, well, well, what's that? There's a sort of sensitivity in that pain, yeah. There's a sort of, actually, there's a heart wish to be free of that pain. And usually, if we go far enough into it, that heart wish, if we get what we want, it isn't exclusive to us. It's sort of, there's a natural sharing of it. Once we've got what we want, once we feel met and fulfilled, we don't have to hold on to that fulfillment for us, yeah. So just some thoughts on that. It's probably easier to go into this in meditation, but are there any questions and clarifications at this point?
Can I Can I ask?
Yep.
If the heart is feeling particularly tender,
Yeah.
and painful,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to be kind to that and wish for that to subside and maybe calm down a bit. Would that be helpful, do you think?
So the heart is feeling tender. I think even the listening, even the sort of sensitivity to that experience is a sort of heart wish in itself, isn't it? The sort of the wish for it to be okay, yeah. But sometimes what those tender bits need is not to be waited for to go away, actually. They just need to really feel, yeah, they're okay how they are. It is how it is. And the heart wish is to sort of really be with that, to really hear the language of that experience in its own terms, in its own language. Not because we want it to go away, because it will actually enrich our lives. That tenderness, it's probably tender for a reason. It's probably tender, because maybe somebody's squashed on it or something, or it's come up against something, that sort of blocked our path to an open heart, but what that's saying is that there's a sensitivity there that really values that openness of heart and has been trod on. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
So, yes, that softness, that entering into relationship with that, but that tenderness can tell us an awful lot. It can tell us, well, maybe actually what I want, you could give it a voice. What I want is for someone to just be with me, sit by me, breathe with me. Yeah. What I want is to be part of this experience, acknowledged. Yeah. Because the heart wish is there to be free, to be open, to be, authentic, to be as I am. Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah. You will see.
Explore, see what, and if we don't know, we can ask, well, what do you need? What's right now? Yeah. When we come into contact with things. But, I think that sort of tenderness is actually part of the move to bringing us into authentic relationship. What's actually going to be meaningful to us. What's meaningful to us? It isn't a sort of Pollyanna-ish clouding over and making everything better. Yeah, it includes and encompasses and responds to, that tenderness, and it sees what that tenderness is asking and saying to us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other clarifications? These are really helpful. So if you're wondering about something, then I probably haven't expressed it clearly yet. So do share, do say. Yes, Bryony.
When you talk about doing Sudoku,
Yes.
Mental Sudoku,
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure what you meant by that exactly. I sometimes I write a things to do list.
Yes.
And then I put something on it that's really easy to do. So I can tick it off, empty the bin.
Yeah.
And then I feel a sense of achievement.
Achievement, exactly. Exactly.
The kind of thing you mean, or
exactly.
Is it
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because here we are, you know, it's quite subtle work sometimes we're doing with the heart mind, and, you know, we can get to sort of just flounder, you know, especially when we're not very grounded. And, you know, it's nice to have something that, no, we can actually say that's concrete, and I've done it. I've got a sense of achievement. Yeah. So that's, you know, and to me, if that's happening actually, then I can, you know, it gives me, okay, so what I want is a sense of achievement in this meditation. Yeah. So how can I sort of, what would a sense of achievement look like? Yeah. What would a sense of achievement look like? You can ask that question and then keep opening. Yeah. Because it doesn't, you know, because we can have a sense of achievement without that closing down of the to-do list mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we need to explore what that would look like.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mary.
Well, it's just what you've just said, and I thought I'm not a very good meditator because I do that quite a lot. I think of, because, you know, I'm quite tidy, a bit, I wouldn't say obsessive, but I like things in place.
Yeah.
So meditating, I do that quite a lot. I think, should I stop meditating and do it, or should I carry on meditating? And sometimes I stop and get on with it, and then I go back because I think it's done now, and I don't have it, you know, going on in my mind.
Yeah.
So it's really helpful because it is, I know it's organising because I know I do that. It's like a bit of a tick list.
Yeah.
And then I feel like a sense of relief that it's, in a sense, out of the way. I don't have to bother about that.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I'm in bed and I meditate sometimes before I go to sleep, and things will come up that I think, oh, I must get that tomorrow. And I have a piece of paper at the side of the bed because I think if I don't write it down, I'll forget it, and then it's going to interfere with me, you know, with
it's quite
mind all
useful.
the time. So it's really helpful. And the things that you say that we may think of that are not very relevant or very Buddhist, I think there's really something in that, because it's really helped me that you've said that. Because, you know, I do have that happening quite a lot, and it's not very helpful. It's quite negative to put myself down about that, you know, because I can do that and think, oh, you know, why am I doing this? I'm meditating and here's this coming up again, you know. But it's there for a reason, I imagine. So my heart,
absolutely,
it can feel a bit, I don't know, a little bit tarnished in a way because I'm doing that to myself. So I thank you for saying that, because it's really helped me.
Good.
You know, because it's there for a reason, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's just being able to listen enough to find out what that helpful reason is.
What it's about, yeah. Well, I really appreciate that. I'm really grateful that you said that. Thank you.
Good. So shall we give it a go? Yeah. So find your meditation postures. So giving yourself all the time in the world to arrive in connection with the earth. Grounded, supported by the earth. The earth giving life, giving nutrients, giving support. Stretching away as far as can be imagined, as deep as the planet. And as we release, breathe out with the out breath. Release our holding with gravity into the earth. We're also free to receive with the in-breath. Receive that support, the energy from the earth. We're part of that life, an expression of the life of the earth. We don't need to hold ourselves apart from it. Breathing right into the earth. Breathing the energy up from the earth into our bodies. Opening our spine. The vitality of the body, alive in this moment. dropping into the body sensations. Letting the center of gravity shift down our body. Entering into the cloud of sensation. A sense of touch in our body. Of heat, pressure, energetic movements, areas of tension. Shifting mass of experience. Engaging with well-wishing, soft, open, curious. Coming into relationship with the sensations of the heart area. In the middle of our chest, or maybe just towards the back, behind our heart. Gently curious, open, not cognitively knowing what we're going to find. You may be surprised. Opening to the sensations of the heart area. And if we're not sure where our heart center is, you can just drop in the question. Where is my heart center? Might be an area of slightly more intensity of experience within this cloud of sensation. We might feel it has a message for us. What is it would like to communicate? What is it of value or meaning right now? However unusual and apparently limited it may be. It could be painful, tender, joyous, sensitive, however it is. How would it like us to be with it? Can it help us to feel into what's of real value to us? What feels authentically true to us now? We don't need to have an answer now in this sit. We're just beginning to make the connection. There's time to build trust. Maybe there's an image, a memory, a feeling, associated with the sensations. Doesn't have to be words. Could be just tenderness. What is it that I wish for myself right now? in my heart of hearts, in the depth. When there's no one to please. In the freedom of my heart. Is there something there that I also wish for others? May they also be free or happy or successful. What is it that I wish for them? Don't worry if there's no answer. It's the spacious wish to connect that's important here. There'll be time to explore this journey more. And your heart wish may change with each moment even. So for the moment, if you want, you can express gratitude. Thank your deepest heart for that possibility of connection. Remember to stay true and bear it in mind. As we come back into connection with the contact of the floor, the sensations and the rest of our body. Okay, we'll see you this afternoon at 4:30.